All right, guys, so excited for what we have for you today. I mean, let's face it, last year, good, bad, ugly, it had its challenges, right? This is your chance to set the bar for this season. There's something that's very powerful about like defining your goal line and setting that bar. Keep you accountable. This webinar, it's just for that. This is also going to be a two-way conversation. I have a format to actually cover. It's going to take about 45 minutes. But this whole webinar is to actually take action on this, not just do a bunch of education without implementation that goes nowhere. And I always love two-way interaction. If you have any questions or anything like that, feel free to type them in chat. So let's get into it. I always love beating the shit out of next year. So our agenda for today, we're going to be actually doing this with you, and this is going to help you set clear goals and then define those targets that we want to achieve this year. We're going to create KPIs, and we're going to align them with tracking and deliverables to get you to those goals. Sounds simple enough, but this is really where like the rubber meets the road, right? It's very hard for people to accomplish this. We're going to map out budgets, channels. Then we're also going to get into important trends for 2026 and what's to come, seeing beyond our nose. And this will help you set up for massive success for this year and beyond. This is our 2026 Ultimate Roofing Marketing Checklist. We use this for our roofing partners and the companies that we work with to not only plan out what to do and check things off step by step, but then you can also audit what needs to be done and what hasn't been done so you can gauge your success, right? So this is it in a nutshell. And we're going to go through all this, not in so much detail where it drives you nuts, but it will just keep you aligned. You can download this. We're going to go through a little bit of everything on here. I don't want to get too much into the nuts and bolts because each one of these pages, we're going to have a webinar in this upcoming year that we're really going to drill down and spend like 45 minutes to an hour tackling each one of these things. But we're going to give like a pretty good overview once we do set our goals and set the bar and start filling out what our KPIs are, right? And then for those that don't make it to the end, I always like to give something of value, something free. This is great. This is something that Chris and his team created. This is from winter to spring, what to do in the off season, especially for us Midwesterners up here in Chicago, freezing our butts off, right? It's how to get revenue through the doors and always be revenue mindset for this year, right? So even in our downtime, we're thinking about, okay, how are we filling up our spring? What are we doing in the off time and for the winter months to come? And it covers all these things. Building out a winter service menu. There's things that a lot of roofers do in the winter time, sales scripts, funnel repair, concentrate. I mean, now is the time to think about repairs when it rains, when snow melts, things like that. Then homeowners start realizing what's going on with their roof. So now is a real good time to start quarterbacking those kind of conversations. And this, if you scan this, Chris will go ahead and he will send that over to you. Or just put in the chat that you want it, and Chris will also share that with you. We're also going to be reviewing this. This is a custom Roofing Rev AI Strategist GPT. We launched this at the end of last year and kept finessing it to what it is right now. And it was pretty popular with the group that we converse with. And we're going to walk through this today. We're actually going to walk you through and do it for you. I'm sure you guys are pumping in a lot of questions in the chat GPT. This is exactly like that, but it's on steroids. We fed it with things like tons of data, like for roofing business owners, roofing business, roofing sales, roofing marketing, etc. Because you have to be kind of careful with AI. It'll give you bad advice, just like you get bad advice from a human being. Like remember, AI has to give you an answer regardless. So it's up to you to really challenge it, validate what it spits out, and just really push it. That's exactly what this is. We've tested this. We know what's on here works because it reflects what we've done and other roofing marketing companies have done and industry standards and stuff like that. And it actually works. That being said, it's going to produce like a lot of levers and KPIs that you could tweak. Everybody wants more leads, right? But I mean, better quality leads. I always concentrate What is the best lead that leads to the sale? What can I get it to close as fast as possible for as low cost as possible, and then go from there. And then this is a special thing to kick off the season. I'm giving away the first 3 people to respond 1,000 printed door hangers. This is good stuff too. This is not like printed on toilet paper or anything like that. It's design print. I know my little image over here, I did that in a jiffy. That's a ChatGPT image, but our professional designers will design it for you. We'll print it for you. It's on 14-point hard cardstock, 8.5 by 11 letter size sheet, split down the middle. And then after that, the next 7 get it for $100. Everybody else $200, and that's usually what the going rate is for these kinds of things, right? All right, and this is what we'll be covering. This is really our accelerated roadmap, and what we do is we normally go through one of these items per webinar. This is going to be, we're going to really start here. We're going to start at the end of the funnel, and we're going to talk about your total spend, average cost per lead, return on investment, and like really setting the bar. How many leads is it going to take to get to that goal, to get to that revenue goal? What does that look like? Because at the end of the day, all this stuff, it's not easy, right? This is the fundamentals, the foundation that we lay down. The answer is simple, but it's not easy, right? It's, if it were easy, every roofing business would be like a multi-million-dollar giant. This is hard work. This is rolling up your sleeves. And that's what we're here to do. We're here to guide you through that. Throughout this whole webinar, I'm going to point out quickest way, low-hanging fruit, easiest way to get to your goal as fast as possible with the least amount of resistance. We like to prioritize the lowest cost per conversion. Lowest cost because you could put more money to get more conversions, to get more roofs. It's simple as that. And as you can see, there's a lot to tackle in roofing marketing. I'm just showing this as an overview. We're not going to tackle all this. We're going to talk about some of these items. The point I'm trying to make here is you really don't want to gamble with your marketing strategy, right? You don't want to gamble with your time or your money like a slot machine, because there's so many things that could try to get your attention. You really just want to zero in and focus in on like what is going to convert and give me the best results for my marketing dollar. You also want to build a great foundation. You know, that foundation has to be solid, and you want to stack your marketing channels on top of that foundation. Stack those opportunities, stack those wins on a foundation that you've already built. And just like the old saying, you don't want to build a house on sand. This is the same thing, right? And next, a little bit about me. I can honestly say that I'm the only roofing marketer out there that's been on Fear Factor twice and won. Yep, it was 2002, 2003. Right here, I had to jump from boat to boat, and I biffed the side, hit the side. I was like their poster boy for a long time. Here's me eating a maggot shake. But hey, at the end of the day, I did all that, and the $50,000 that I won from them, I started my first web design company with my brother Chris 20 some odd years ago, 25 years ago, which now developed into roofing web marketing. And then this is my brother right here, Chris. We're a small 8-man band. We're about 40 miles west of Chicago. He's the actual one that runs the operations, gets things done. He's the nerdy, techie guy with a little touch of OCD that actually gets his stuff done and runs his team of specialists. Once again, anytime anybody in this webinar wants to have us dive into their current marketing situation, create a custom strategy for you, just let us know. We'll gladly do it. That's what we're here for. All right, little housekeeping before we begin. Let's just take the moment to be in this moment. I see roofers every day scrolling through Facebook. What do I do? How do I do this? Looking for the quick answers. Like I said before, simple is not easy. There's no Ozempic shot for this. There's no magic pill. But let me ask you something. What impact would an extra 1 roof per week do for your business? Or 2 roofs per week do for your business? Or even 5 roofs per week mean to you, your family, your coworkers, your roofing business? And this isn't some kind of like ChatGPT bullshit, copy paste that you keep seeing all over the place. This is how we put food on the table. We take this seriously. We do this from bell to bell, me personally, the moment I wake up in the morning to the moment I go to bed. So this means a lot to me. And like I said, this can impact your business and change your life. But yeah, let's rock. And just to get a feeling, if you'd like to, if you're not shy, go ahead and put in the comments like, how was your season last year? Be honest about it. It's okay. Nobody's judging you or anything like that. For me personally, it was a very tough year. Across all the roofers that we work with, we really we were doubling our output, but that doubled output didn't equal double the money, right? We still went up, we still gained, but not as much as projected. It was a very tough, scroungy, scrapey year for us and our roofers. So yeah, like I said, you could put it in the chat. If not, just write it down. We're here to do better than the season before, right? Writing things down, hold yourself accountable. I like to start off this with what are the 2026 predictions, the marketing trends? What's going on right now? We're getting out of the information age into the age of AI, right? And this is profound. Like they're shipping out these computers nowadays with zero search engines. The new Chromebooks, they just have Gemini. They're going to be phasing that out, right? They're having a new product come in. Your focus should still be on Google, but ChatGPT is starting to be baked into results. These LLMs, these learning language models, fancy word for AI, it's starting to get picked up in search results because everybody wants a piece of the pie. So the way that we see it, and we, not only us, but the industry sees it, other experts that are way smarter than me, trust signals are going to be like the new currency of the web. So that's great. If you're a company that is amazing at building relationships, building trust, you have to like take that and say, well, how do I do this for AI to get picked up? How do I represent this online? Think of things like real images, reviews, things coming out from humanistic factors pumping into your website. Like that's going to be the new currency coming in. Another thing that's also going to happen is people hate dealing with other people, right? They're getting away from the human aspect and they just want to like deal with the computer, deal with the AI, deal with the chatbot. So less and less people are going to be picking up the phone. It's going to be harder and harder and harder to make phone calls. The other day, they just implemented on the new iOS that every phone call that comes in, it already gives me like a summary about who that company is and what that company is about. So if I'm calling somebody, it's already going to tell me exactly who that person is that's calling, even though I don't know their number. So we're also going to have to deal with that. High tech instead of high touch. But being high touch, that's a good thing because you can translate that into the high tech. Text messaging, AI lead follow up, things of that nature. A lot of AI pricing. We've also seen where you can go and have AI reach out to get you a bunch of roof quotes. How would you like an AI bot calling you to get a roof quote instead of the actual homeowner? You're going to want to kill yourself at that point. But I mean, that's coming. That's where they're going with it. I have a slide. Actually, I think the next slide where it shows it's baked in. Like this is it right here. Like this is how the process is going to work. Just Google it. How does AI call and price check companies for me? And it's telling you like this is something that they're working on. They want to monetize this. Like this is here. This is now. Just like the Arnold Schwarzenegger Terminator movies. Like we're in it now. It's not the 80s anymore, okay? So let's start getting into action, right? So now we're going to just set the bar. We're going to write down our goals, plain and simple. We're going to have a clearly documented plan of attack and playbook. You don't want to spin your wheels. You don't want to throw spaghetti at a wall. And more importantly, you don't want to be at the end of the year and then be like, oh God, what did we do last year? I don't know. What was our plan? We have to write these out. It can't just be a blanketed, generalistic goal, right? And I always use this acronym. I didn't invent this. This is like something from the 90s that people have been using for a long time. It's a SMART goal. Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time bound. So this is an example, like I want to hit 3 million in revenue by December 31st, 2026, averaging 250K a month with 12 qualified appointments a week at a 33% close rate. It's very specific. It checks everything. Just saying, oh, I want to do another million, that's not so much, right? And even if that, like, validate that. Why do you need to hit that revenue goal? What does that money mean? Money is useless without the meaning behind it. So what are you doing with that money? Are you expanding your business? Are you trying to grow a bigger business? Are you getting of the age where you want to cash out on that business? What does that timeline look like? So really kind of measure yourself, challenge yourself, really come up with a goal that you are committed to hitting. And once again, I mean, there's a lot of studies out there. I didn't make this up, but we all agree if you write down your goal, you share it with other people, it becomes tangible, it becomes real, and it challenges you. The more people that have their opinion on it, sometimes it fires you up as well. I don't know if you're like me, but I get a chip on my shoulder when somebody tells me I can't do something. It fuels me. It also kills procrastination, most importantly. So let's get started. Click this button. All right, what's our roofing company? I'm going to say I'm South Elgin Roofing in South Elgin. How much revenue are you currently at? Okay, I am at 2 mil going to 3 mil. All right, when do you want to get it? December 31st, 2026. It'll default to 20,000 over here in South Elgin. That's about the average. So I will put 20K. What percentage of leads you get are qualified leads? Now this is tricky. The default is 65, right? And the reason why I put this number is every call is not a lead. A lot of people, especially a lot of marketers, they just track like vanity metrics. What we do is we validate every single call that comes in. We have AI check it, we have a human person check it, and then we also match it up inside of our CRM to make sure that it's a real lead, because who cares about a guy selling you a Xerox machine? Like, we want a homeowner looking for a re-roof in my neighborhood, not in another state or some other country or anything like that. And this is kind of like the average of all the leads that come in, 65%. That's a pretty good number. So out of 10 leads, 6.5 are actual leads. So I'll keep that. And then close rate. Different channels have different close rates. That's just a fact of the matter. This is kind of like a cheat sheet. Every lead is not created equal. Certain leads have a better intent, right? Think of it like this. If I'm sitting down in the morning and I'm going to the washroom and I'm scrolling through my Facebook stuff, that's not as good of a lead as somebody that has a leak in their roof and they're actively going on Google to go ahead and fix the problem now. And that's different than somebody that just got hit by a storm and needs an emergency repair right now, right? And that's different than somebody that's been on ChatGPT all day trying to figure out the right company to work with and then goes to Google and gives you a phone call that's ready to rock, right? They're all different buyer intents, so they're all going to be different. So for me, I'm going to put in that it is somebody like that's going to Google that's ready to rock for a roof replacement. And ours is 25%. Well, I mean, not me personally, our roofing clients, this is their average. And now it's going to help you with the math. A lot of people are afraid to do math. But I mean, if you can do the math correctly and reverse engineer everything, the better off you're going to be. And I always like to do not the best math ever. I like to do the worst math ever. I like to have higher dollar amounts but lower percentages. So then that way, I like to do a worst case scenario, not always the best case scenario, because everybody presents the best case scenario always. And you know that math doesn't work out. So do like real math. And you can play with this. This isn't like set in stone. You can play with this, right? So this is telling me we're at 2 mil, getting to 3 mil, 20,000, time remaining 11 months. This is your clients needed. To get that extra million, you're going to need 50 new jobs. 50 new jobs equals 25%, 200 qualified leads. At 65%, you're going to need 308 total leads. And then your targets, qualified, 18 per month. Total leads, 28 per month, right? Now, if you're in a cold weather area, just say, hey, we only roof 8 months a year. Update numbers. Do it for you. Be honest with yourself. I mean, you don't do a roof right now. You're not getting on a roof when it's 15 below in Chicago. So here you go. The gross numbers are the same, but now it'll do your monthly. So now okay, in an 8 month season, 7, 8 months, you can even do less, do 7 months, do worse math. Like this is how many qualified leads you're going to need a month. 25 is one every business day, right? So at the end of the day, these aren't the this isn't that hard to attain an extra million, especially in roofing, especially 20,000 a roof, right? But it also comes down to what your profit margin is. Are you in a 30% profit margin? Are you 40%? Last year was a challenge for a lot of people. A lot of competition came in. People started getting scared. People start dropping their prices. I've heard of a lot of stories of roofers as low as 20, 25%, some even less than that. It's hard to build a business off that. I mean, that's gross profit, right? So, I mean, after you chop everything else out of that gross profit, what do you really have left? Even at a 30 or 40%, if you chop it down, what do you have? 20, 10% left? It's rough to scale a business like that. So always get your math right. And this is going to start to tell you what the different levers are. And this reflects exactly what we do. We're not just creating this, right? This is it telling with all the information that we packed into here what to do. I don't specialize in door knocking. I don't sell door knocking. I don't do cabinetting, but my roofers do. We give you door hangers to go out and do that. We help you with those materials. We create funnels for that as well. We're on the battlefield trying to help support you. Google domination. So you want to start at the top of the page and work your way down, knowing that at the top is local service ads, Google guaranteed, pay per click. The map is huge, local SEO, AI, AI engine optimization, and getting found where homeowners go to research this stuff and actually make decisions. Branding. You have to think of yourself as, okay, I am a roofer and there's a lot of other roofers out there. What's going to make me memorable? What makes me stand out? Am I a vet? Do I do charities? Do I support the kids' little league? Do I coach? What makes you different? What's your special sauce? Are you GF certified? Are you a master shingle guy that has the 25-year warranty baked in? Like, what makes you different? What is your brand? Do you have something that's memorable? If you show up in a truck that's branded versus somebody showing up with a truck that just has a name and phone number on the side, I mean, who do you think they're gonna remember? Also, what you wear. I do the same thing. I have spent the money, did the branding, right? Even my website, you go to my website, it's all these goofy superhero, Fortnite-esque superhero type roofers. I did that so I could be memorable from everybody else and so I don't blow my brains out when I have to design web pages with just a guy on a roof and using actual real images of people, us, things like that. Tell your story. You probably have an interesting story that all comes into your branding. Social domination, very extremely tedious work to do. Once again, if you go back to our sheet, it says right here, organic social media, one of the lowest average cost per lead and customer. The hard part is it takes so long to do. It's high labor, time intense investment, right? Consistency. These platforms are greedy. Google, Facebook, Instagram. They want you to use their platform. The more you use it, the more they reward you. If you just post something once a week, once a year, whatever, it's not going to get you results. And now we're going to start to lock in like focus questions, right? Do you currently have leads coming in from any source, Google, referrals, ads, canvassing? Yes, of course you do, especially referrals. Everybody has referrals, right? They're coming in every week. I'll say sort of. The referrals kick up. Maybe they're not coming in from Google. And then it'll start telling you what's happening. Like, I'm marketing, fix what's already exists. Does more than 50% of your business come from one single lead source? For a lot of our guys, they're about 25% referral, maybe about 50% Google Maps, and the other 25% LSAs. So, yes, Google Maps. That's your Google business profile. And that outside of your website is another asset that you own. Like if your website was gone tomorrow, that would be an asset that you still own, is that Google business profile. And of course, it's their product, right? So they're in love with it. Do any of your current marketing efforts get stronger over time instead of resetting themselves? Of course, like SEO does, reviews. And you could keep going down this and really play with this. I'm not going to go all the way down. This locks it in. This kind of tells you, okay, based on what you told me, fix what exists, add a channel, build a compounding lever, right? Because you want to stack your wins. So you have leads, but they're inconsistent. Over half your revenues from the man, which is risky, right? So you want to diversify, just like if you had stocks, money to invest, you wouldn't just put it all into Amazon stock or Apple stock or Google stock. You would diversify that as well. You already have SEO and reviews working. We need to lean into this, not replace it. And like I said, these reviews, that's a digital trust currency that the web is using. It's not about just having keywords anymore. It's Google knows that that's a human being that put that review in, and they are giving a lot of stock into that, and so is ChatGPT and everywhere else. And we'll kind of touch on that a little bit later. And then it just starts breaking it down. Fix what already exists during, before, after photos, tighten up your profile, add location, service pages, stuff like that. And then really just dive into here. And this is kind of like the stuff that we do to lay the foundation as well. And it tells you, and you could keep playing with this and you could keep going down the rabbit hole on this, right? But once you're done and you're satisfied with the numbers, you kind of have to ask, what's your next step? So it broke it down for me. And now what I like to do is I like to go in and validate it and then put it into a spreadsheet. So, okay, I said 3 million. I'm running 3 crews. Why, how? Ask yourself, why do you want this goal? I want to build a scalable business that I could pass down to my family. I want to take care of the people. If I've been in business 20 years, those people like family. When you do business with somebody, it's a family, even though they're not your blood family. Some are, like in my case. You're with these people 8 hours, 10 hours a day, week after week after week. You spend more time with them than your actual family. So of course you want to take care of them. And then if you're like me as well, 50 years old, you probably don't want to be on a roof anymore. If you're still on the roof, you probably want to get off. So like, I just made these up, but whatever your reasons are, great. Validate them. And then for this, the example metrics, these all pulled up. We reviewed that as well. Like I said, use those worst case scenarios and then plug it into a sheet. And I like to work off a spreadsheet that I can gauge. And this thing, like I said, it's a calculator for you, right? And I'll kind of zoom in so you guys could see it a little bit better. And this is it. Just type in what it is, your average roof replacement. Okay, boom. I said I'm doing 2 million, so that was 100 jobs. And my goal is 150. So that's 50 that I wanted to add. And it starts giving you numbers that you could work with, right? And then marketing spend, 3 to 12%. So this is what you would spend to try to get that extra million. I'm not saying you have to spend this, but this is on the low end, right? The low percentage. The high percentage would be 12%. You want to put a higher percentage? Change it. Let's say I say 5%, whatever. So that's your budget for the year. And then siding jobs. Okay, a lot of you guys also do other exteriors. You could do commercials. You could type commercial jobs in here. What are you currently doing? What's your goal to get? Pop it in here, spend. It'll give you a price. And then up here, it gives you, okay, if I spent $157,000 in marketing and I got 150 roof replacements, this would be a little bit over $1,000 per new customer. Am I still making money? Yeah. Am I happy spending $1,000 for customer acquisition? Depends. I always like to ask the question, what's the lowest cost to get a new customer, a new re-roof. It's how much am I willing to spend to get that? I want to cap it off. I want to have a range. Of course, you're always trying to get the lowest. That's why people love referrals, because for the most part, they're free, but it's hard to scale referrals. So you have to ask yourself, okay, well, if I'm spending $100 an ad and every fourth ad becomes a new customer, then that's $400 that I spent. But what's the max that you're willing to go for that? And you have to be comfortable with what you're putting in there. And this kind of helps you come out with that. Because then you're like, okay, well, I'm not comfortable spending $1,000. My margins are too low. That's way too much money. Or my goal isn't that aggressive. Well, then you could change it and put it to a 3%, 2%. But you gotta spend something, right? It's how many pennies am I stepping over to pick up that dollar? That's what you have to ask yourself. And then pricing, right? We put all our pricing up front on our website. You should too. That's another big trust factor. People are asking the question about pricing, even if you don't want to be like me and put your pricing on your website, because there's so many factors in, put a range. Like, what are the things that could make it that range? Is it because of the material? Is it because of the size? Is it the amount of pitches and all that other stuff? Like, no, it's all different factors, but you should address that because that's one of the first things that they're going to click on when they go to your website. Don't be afraid to talk about things that, you're uncomfortable with. And then funnel analysis. You could do this, you could copy paste this and do this for other things like how much traffic a month, what is it going to take? If you're trying to get to that 50 number, right? Let's just say if this is how many people are coming to your site, this is how many leads you're getting, this is how many customers you're getting, here are your conversion rates. I mean, you can do different things to tweak these little knobs. You don't always need more. At the same conversion rates, right? This is what you would need. You would need more traffic. You would need more leads at these same conversion rates to get to where you want to go, to get those extra, well, what did we say it was? It was 50, right? So it was 200 divided by 8. So it was 25, right? That was my million, 7.5. But here you go. So this kind of gives you like an analysis of your traffic, how many leads you need. But you can do better with the conversion rates. You can either get more leads from the current traffic you have by having a better website with better trust factors, better optimization, little widgets to give people pricing ideas, or you could get better qualified leads as well. And most importantly, too, what we do, we track everything. So we love our tracking dashboards. You need to have a live, transparent system where you can track every single dollar coming in. None of this should be guesswork. You should always be able to figure out where your bottlenecks are. We even have it to the point where it talks to your CRM. If you're using like a job Nimbus, it can go back and forth with that as well. So you can validate all this information. So you need to track the leads. Lead comes in. Is it good or not? Yes or no? So you can see on this example, you had 118 leads coming in. After validating them, only 73 were qualified. This is the total investment. This was spent on us. This was spent on ads. They didn't hit their ad budget for that month. This was the cost per lead for this number, but this was the cost of qualified leads. And you can see this is how many phone calls they had. This is how many local service ads that they did, right? And then right here, the close rate, the amount of qualified leads, the average roof job, this was their projected revenue. We checked it against Job Nimbus, and that was the real deal. That was the real revenue. So every buck you put in, you got 62 bucks back. I mean, that's a gross number. That's not the profit. So I mean, that's still pretty good, right? So if you did, I think it's almost like a 10% if you just did it against the profit. So you're stepping over a dime to pick up a dollar. So anybody that you work with, I don't care if it's us or not, you have to have a partner it feels like they're your best advisor, your best part-time employee that you've ever had. Think of it like it's a fractional set of experts at your fingertips. Somebody that's going out there hunting, and then eating what they kill. Not waiting for you to give them a solution, but coming up with solutions to the problems that you have and coming up with solutions to the problems that you don't know. Not having a bunch of excuses waiting for you to command the reins. That's like how we work. We work by partnering with you, diagnosing exactly what the problem is. We already have the system that we know works, and we lay that system on top of your business, and we customize it to fit your business, fit your goals, fit your needs. And like I said earlier, it's time right now, like write those goals down, lock them in, share them with your leadership team. Be accountable for them. I write mine on a whiteboard, so it's right in front of me. Anytime I ever question like where we're at right now, I can look at that, look at my dashboard, match it up and see, okay, this is how many months we have until the next quarter. Where am I at with this? We even create a reward or punishment to make it fun. Have games. You have sales goals, marketing goals, whatever they may be. There's tons of little games. Like we do a punishment or reward to make it fun. Like for me personally, if I hit my sales goal, next year when the Bears play, they play the NFC South, right? I want to go see the Bears in Atlanta play the Falcons on the road. And if I lose, I have to, my brother is also my neighbor, I also have to cut my brother's lawn all summer or pay to have it cut, whatever, which he's smiling right now. Very happy about that. You better not hope I fail, man. Okay. And once again, the free goodies for those that join late or don't make it to the end, scan this or reach out to Chris in chat and he'll send this to you for winter to spring training module that he created with his team. This is what we just reviewed. Once again, Chris put that link in the chat for anybody that joined late or didn't quite get it. And then once again, 1,000 printed door hangers to the first 3. All right, now let's start talking about, all right, we defined our numbers. We figured out a little bit of what we're going to do. ChatGPT, this AI strategist tool that we created or inside of ChatGPT, it said that what we have to do next, right, and breaking down these channels. So let's go ahead and break down the quick channels that it told us to do, which is foundational stuff. And I'm just going to kind of touch these. I'm not going to go deep into these because we have trainings on our site already on some things that we've already covered. And then we're going to be also covering a lot of the other things that we haven't covered, right? So we went over, we went over this portion right here. And now we're going to kind of come back to the beginning, right? So optimizing and having all this stuff. Now we're going to get into the organic leads, the paid leads, the database stuff, driving traffic to your site, right? Once again, just a sliver of the pie, but we're going to be concentrating here on these things and referrals to begin with. So maps, referrals, site, getting found where it matters, right? And let's just start by heads. I like this with AI coming and everything else. Like, does SEO still even matter? Right? So that question's always asked. You always hear SEO is dead, whatever, right? Here's the landscape on Google, right? I type in roofing company, Chicago, Illinois. These are my local service ads. These are the sponsored results. So these local service ads cost about 60 to 120 on average here. Over here, these are per click. This is pay per lead. This is pay per click. So if I have a good ad, maybe I get a 10% return on click. So if it's $30 a click, every 10th guy turns into a lead, that's $300. Some markets is double that. So I mean, think about that. You're paying $300 for a lead, $600 for a lead down here. That's super expensive. So we're big on local service ads because you control that. That's per lead and you only get charged if it's a lead. And then you have over here, this is the Google map. This guy's paying to be here. Probably a little bit cheaper than over here. He's probably paying about $250 for a lead because it converts a little bit better when it's next to the map. And it also looks like these. It mimics it, right? You can see 70% still go here. So this section right here, 70% of the people still go to. So this is your least expensive place to get a roof replacement, least expensive place to get a new customer. So we love concentrating on this. Problem with this is you have to ramp it up. It's not instantaneous. Certain areas, it's very competitive, right? So you really have to have something in place. So in the beginning, we like doing local service ads because it's pay per lead. You're getting leads walking through the door, but then this is the goal is to get this done, the 70% right here. And this is to get you in the interim while that's cooking. And we see it. So like these are like real results. And this client, 72% organic. Over here, 67. So that number of 70% that they gave us, that stat that they gave us, I tested it within our own clientele. And it's exactly what's happening. So yeah, SEO still matters. And in the past, if you've done well within the past, you're probably going to do well with the AI to come. It's not exactly the same, but it has a lot of similarities. So you have your website, you have AI, you have the Google Maps with the Google Business Profile, and it all cohesively links together. It's its own ecosystem. All right, so now let's talk about what about AI and no-click search, because this trend is increasing. We're actually seeing a lot of website traffic decrease. They're trying to phase out the website and just have it as a database that gets picked up in the AI or gets picked up on the Google business profile or your local service ads. It's pulling the reviews from places and taking services and matching it up as well, right? So it's very, they call it no-click search, where somebody might call you up or go to you, but they've never even stepped foot on your website. They're just going through the AI. So how do we deal with that? And this is kind of like an example. Okay, who's the top tier residential roofer in Chicago that has 20 plus years of experience, has Da Vinci certification, and is part of the NRCA, right? And it pulled up like who these guys are. And that's how searches are going to be done. People are going to be asking, yeah, what certain things should I be looking for? What trust factors? Why should I trust these people? And then that's how it's going to go about, right? And you can see same thing on Gemini. No click search. This is all in the AI results overview. They click here. They most likely never went to your site ever. So now you have to start asking yourself, where is it pulling this information from? It's pulling from your website, your reviews, and then other directories coming in. So if you're on CertainTeed's website and you have a link on there and it comes back to your website, it sees that as important. It's also trusting BBB. I thought BBB was at the brink of destruction, and they're back in it, man, because it's a human vetting system on top of their brand already. It also trusts like weird places like Yelp and Reddit. Like Reddit, I thought was like for my little kids' video games, but those are like real people leaving comments on there. So it trusts it. Trust, the new currency of the future. And then right here, AI search audit, they said that actual traffic to the site's being reduced by 15-25%. And this number is only going to get bigger over time. So just ask yourself, what are you doing to gain AI's trust, which your homeowner, your clientele in commercial roofing, your property management company, like they're researching this stuff and they're trusting the AI, even if it's right or wrong. What are you doing to gain the AI's trust regardless? You know, you want to be the roofer that AI recommends. And we could tell you, we could do it for you. If you'd like, we can go ahead and we can put your name in here, your domain, and we'll let you know how you stack up on ChatGPT. So if you'd like that, just type report in chat and Chris will go ahead and produce that for you and send it to you. And we can walk you through it as well. This is kind of like what the sample metrics look like. So you type in roofing contractor, it gave me a 25%. So what are you going to do to get better and get that extra 75%? It was 0 out of 25 prompts. Like what are you going to do to make it every prompt? Basically, you're answering questions that it's being asked. And like I said too, you don't have to, it's very similar to SEO. You don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. Google's got the lion's share. They're just figuring out how to monetize it. They've got their Gemini and stuff like that. Search intent's different though nowadays. When people are on Google, they're looking for a vendor. When people are researching things, they're going on ChatGPT. And if they want something like now that's local, they'll go to the Google Maps. Just different searching intent based on what the customer's doing. So yeah, like we said, Google's still king. SEO is not dead. But these guys are coming after it, right? And they're starting to monetize it with ads and stuff like that as well. And a lot of users are just bypassing traditional search. And a lot of AI tools now are baked into different softwares as well. So you have to ask yourself about that. This was our old proven SEO formula, and this kind of transfers over to the new way we do things too. So all this stuff still stands. Core vitals, figuring out the keywords, your services, your service plus your area equals a page. That's your website's now your database to feed all this stuff. And then putting in trust factors. How long have you been in business for? Certifications do you have? Do you have any special construction certifications? Especially in commercial roofing. There's a lot of residential roofers I see out there that rank for commercial roofing that do not know how to do commercial roofing, and they do not have the certifications. So if you are a commercial roofer, it's very important to put yourself up there as the real deal commercial roofer, commercial construction. These guys can't do it. They might be able to do small projects and small repairs, but they can't do big industrial roofing. They're not manufacturing stuff either, doing metal work. I'll keep repeating it over and over and over. Biggest currency on online and offline too. You have to answer the questions that people want to know. Don't hide it. There's no reason why you should hide anything nowadays. People will find the answer anyway. If somebody wants to know how big your company is or how much money you make or what's your favorite color, most likely they can find it online. Have a clean structure, no more of these messy websites all over the place. You want to put the trust factors up top, who you belong to, why you're better than everybody else, and then using it to build authority online, showing your expertise, not just crapping out a bunch of AI generated text on the page. And use real images, real videos, no stock photos, as many as possible, real jobs. People want to see the before and afters. It's really important too for commercial work too. They want to see the projects that you've worked on, how you've solved certain problems. Chris will share this in the chat. These are like the keywords. It's still a pretty big important piece of the puzzle. A lot of these keywords that we see, I review a lot of sites every day for prospects and clients, and I see a lot of the stuff missing. This is like our bread and butter money keywords. Once again, we'll gladly do a report for you. Just type report in the chat. We can also audit your SEO, your AI, everything. And I love these map reports. Showing what you rank on a map in a certain area is very powerful to me. I'm a visual person, so I love to see this is what I rank for residential roofing company near me. And you can see, like, you want to improve on this. So like on my doorstep over here, I'm in the top 3. If I go a mile out, not so much. Like this one is in St. Charles. But I want to make these all greens, all 1s, 2s, and 3s. Think of it like a drop, like a ripple. So the drop is strong in the middle. As it ripples out, it gets weaker. So you want to be famous on your doorstep, but 5 miles out, 10 miles out, up to 20 miles out, right? You have to think of it. Google Business Profile, Google Maps, it's a tangible asset, just like your website, just like your Rolodex, your database of customers and leads that you have. It's an asset to you. And once again, if you're doing everything right on Google, it's going to pay off in ChatGPT. So here's an example that I use for elevated roofing. You can see they're in the top over here on the Google map, and they're also top in SEO. But then when you go to ChatGPT, they're also recommended here. It tells you why. We're feeding it this, right? This is an actual client of ours. We're feeding it the information. We put all this stuff, how many years they've been in business, family owned and operated, their warranties. The higher up it is on your homepage, the more chances of it getting picked up in ChatGPT because it crawls from the top down. And it looks at the sources, the citations, and all that other stuff. And it's easy to reverse engineer. And we measure it with software. All right, so that's like driving things, right? And like I said, that's kind of like an high level, quick overview. And now it's like, okay, once we get them, like, what are we doing to like convert them? Like I was saying earlier, this is kind of like how the funnel stacks. This is traffic and leads, and this is like over time. So let's say like if you're doing long-term stuff, like you're trying to rank on the organic Google map, you're trying to rank for ChatGPT, that stuff could take a long time to do, right? So if you're working with a marketing company or you're just starting off and you're doing it, let's say you hired somebody to do it in-house for yourself, it's not going to pay off. You're going to have a negative ROI because you're spending all this time and effort into one aspect and you're not getting, you need leads right now. So that's where we hedge it with the pay-per-click, local service ads. We know that at $60 to $120 an ad, and let's call it $100, every fourth, fifth one turns into a re-roof, then that gives us money to pay for all this and keeps the ROI going. And as that goes and that's going, the other part is going to kick in as well. So now you're getting local service ads, you're getting Google Map listings and clicks and leads from there, phone calls from there, and now you have a cohesive system. So this is kind of like the system that we use, right? Think of it like you're building a fire. You need something quick to ignite the fire, and then once the fire's up, you're burning wood. So it's like starting a fire with gas and then using the wood to burn over time. That's our analogy on that. Everything has different buyer intent. This is that sheet that we'll share with you as well. That is this guy of all the different channels, all the average cost per lead, the average customer cost, and then the notes on it, like what tool is for what job. Organic social media, super cheap, cost effective, but takes a long time. SEO, local maps, highest intent, best leads, very profitable, but takes a little bit of time, right? Email marketing. If you have a small database and you're not used to email marketing, it's a very high overall ROI, but you have to have a pretty decent sized database. Right here, the Google Maps, this is a great play. And these are the types of improvements that we're looking for. So we optimize these, or you could see like we started off on July 14th on this one last year. And then in August, a couple weeks later, average ranking was a 3.86. And we had a 50% improvement. Now they're in the top three 90% of the time in this area. And you want to do that for all your good fit keywords, high intent keywords. And like we talked about this, local service ads. This is Google's premium product. It resembles the maps. They used to call it Google Guaranteed. They even had a guarantee with it as well, that if the contractor screwed things up, they would give you up to, I think 2000 it was. They stopped doing that because Google's like that. They're like the old Indiana Jones movie where he's got the golden totem, he's got the bag of sand, and he comes in with the bag of sand, and then the ball comes out and tries to kill him. That's kind of how Google runs things. They get you drinking their Kool-Aid, and then they take it away and monetize it. It's pretty ingenious on their part. Sucks for us because it costs us more money as a business owner. And then, like I said, Google Ads, super expensive, but very granular. You can control where they are, where they're featured, what keywords, most importantly, negative keywords. You can weed out all that junk. Me personally, I like doing retargeting ads, people that have been to your site or have booked an inspection, and then that pixel follows them around Facebook or follows them around YouTube. But that's a different tool for a different procedure. And we're going to be doing social and pay-per-click ad training this year as well. So yeah, we talked about this, the conversion factors, real images, real videos. I don't want to go deep on this, but hey, like number one thing that we see out there is having your phone number at the top of your website, especially on mobile. Like you don't have people scrolling through looking for your phone number. Your phone number's buried all the way at the bottom. We see that a lot. Another thing is like booking directly on your cal through chat or AI voice. Speed the lead. There's no reason not to be able to do it. Taking calls even after hours, having chat bots to talk with people and get what they call micro conversions, because we can nurture those small conversions into real conversions, real leads. And this is all in that checklist as well. Retargeting, automation, just tweaking those dials, getting more with what you currently have. And a lot of times you give somebody an estimate and they go dark on you. Well, if you have something retargeting them, showing up in their Facebook feed, reminding you of, oh, why you should use so-and-so's company because, oh, 25-year warranty, best in the business, 10,000 reviews, 5-star rating, whatever. You want to feed them that information to help them come back to you. You also have to think of yourself too as like, where are you going to be like review wise, right? Like if you're not building reviews right now, where are you going to be if you have 100 reviews and your competitor has 1,000 reviews? Where are you going to be in a year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now? That guy that has 1,000, where are they going to be a year from now, 3 years from now, 10 years from now? It's really important to build this trust now, especially with AI coming to eat your lunch. You really want to build it out. And a major problem that we uncover, and this goes back even to back when I did B2B generalist marketing, is that a lot of these inbound leads, phone calls, web form fills, they don't convert. They don't turn into real leads. They don't turn into inspections. They don't turn into getting the sale. And why? Filling out forms and calling, that's an antiquated way. It's a very direct way. It's a high intent way, but people don't want to do it. Speed the lead. Leads that aren't followed up with in a couple minutes, they go cold. There's a thing that says after 5 minutes, the graph looks like it drops off a cliff. And then on average, how many times are you following up with your proposals, with your leads? The average is supposed to be like 5 to 7, and they find out that people only do about 2, 3. So it doesn't align with the averages. And then today's consumer, they're very nonchalant. They don't want to be followed up with via phone all the time, in a person. It's very impersonal nowadays. Text messaging, emails, chat bots, even talking to AI. They don't really want to talk to a human being, they found, until it's usually like the very end, or if they're in an emergency situation. It also depends on the price of what you're selling to. Obviously, if you're going to buy a $20,000 roof, you're going to talk to a human being at some point, right? But that doesn't mean it's always in the beginning. Things like setting an inspection. Do you really need to talk to a person? If I have to choose speed between human person, I would take speed because the percentages are higher. But you can do both. You can have the best of both worlds. And then automating solutions. It also saves you money. It's more efficient. It standardizes your practices. Think of Amazon. When you call Amazon, you get the same kind of service and support every single time. It's not different per person. It's a systemized support system. So if you can automate things, if you could standardize things, the better it's going to be. Communication. So yeah, AI assisted, that is the answer, right? Booking leads, calendar inspection, no missed calls, speed to lead, visibility. So yeah, strategy now, write down the things that you need to focus on the most. If you're not doing these, or maybe you are doing these, but they're not quite working, you want to stack these on top of each other. Marketing, roofing marketing, it's tough to chew as a whole, like when I showed you that slide with everything as a whole. But if you could digest it in bite-sized pieces and stack it, that's where you're going to find out where you're getting your best results. So yeah, start with the audit, identify 3 key areas of improvement. I just listed a bunch that you could probably do right off the bat. Check them off one at a time. Don't try to do everything at once. And then once you do something, track it, rinse, repeat. So set clear goals and target for the year. Align the KPIs, how many leads, how many qualified leads, how many inspections. Track what you want to accomplish. Map out the plan, have a full plan, have it mapped out so you know exactly where your bottlenecks are and where you went wrong. Budget your channels, important trends, set you up for success in 2026 and beyond. If you want to talk about DIY is great, but like done for you is better. It's like grandma's cooking, I always say. There's something that's being left out of that recipe that you're missing. That it comes with expertise. It comes over time. It comes from doing it a million times over. Like I said, we don't dabble in this. We do this 24/7, bell to bell. So if you want us to do this for you, we'll do a complete analysis of your competitors, figure out the guys that are on top, see where you're at, and see how to one up them and get better than them. We have the keyword list for you that's already built. We can share that with you. We'll walk through the keywords that are most important, that are going to get you there the quickest. We do ranking reports, those map reports, kind of like I showed with the little red and green dots. And then a complete analysis of your online directories, your listing, how you look like on AI, ChatGPT, and all the other AIs that are out there, like Gemini and Perplexity and all those other AIs that are coming. And most importantly, look at your online reviews, online reputation. We have a custom AI bot that we created that scrapes all of your reviews, what people are saying about you, and it points out things to fix. Because if you don't know what to fix, obviously you can't fix it. So we help you with that. And then also getting more reviews. I really didn't dive too much into that, but we have automations to help you bake that into your corporate culture and then help you get a percentage more reviews so you could build those reviews. So if you have 100 reviews today, next year hopefully you have 200, then the year after that you have another. Like, we want your reviews to consistently build over time. Because I mean, like I said, if you're behind now, it's like a NASCAR race, right? If you go out for a couple laps, you might be able to get back into it. If you go out for a lot of laps, you're out of the race. And this is very similar. I can only put you in the fastest car that everybody else has, but I can't help it if that guy's so many laps ahead of you. But all I can do is build from this day and beyond, right? And then social presence, website conversions. I'll tell you what's good and bad. And the trust signals, right? I kept beating that. And this is us again. Our model is to 4x your revenue of 100 roofing companies. And we're small, like I said, 8-man band, 40 miles west of Chicago. Me personally, we've been doing this for 25 plus years. We niche down to roofing. That's all we do is roofing marketing for roofing companies. I enjoyed this. I hope you got a lot of this too. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.